Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. The making of Resurrection. I'll bring this to the end of Act 1. This is the 7th year, 41st day, first video. I'm going to erase stuff as I go. The couples, or options for the couple. This would be Paul and Robin. I said plus. Well, Will and Julie come to mind. Tim and Sinai come to mind. I had said that there are other ones, and I'm sure there are others as well. But I just thought I'd put them in for the record. What I'm going to describe, if you wanted to hear it described in other terms, well, there is a playlist, Resurrection the movie, in Frank's School. And there's 29 videos in that. What I'm doing right now would be, I did in the 10th of those 29. Now back then, I was thinking in terms of a Portuguese abandoned village up in the mountains, and now I'm thinking in terms of right here as the setting, and so I'm being in much more detail now. Also now I'm discussing the music, the soundtrack as well. But anyway, that's there, and and it's in many ways it's similar. It could be compared if you chose to. All right, I thought maybe Nama should be more complex. The last I left it, she lusted after Festus. I don't know about that. That would be okay, but I think maybe there can be more to her than that. I think Nama can be a comforter. I thought of the word, just like Bryn and her father Marion in earlier literature have proven to be healers. Well, she could be sort of the archetypic comforter, not able to heal, but able to comfort. And she cannot heal Festus's limp. She cannot heal the old man Marion's old age, but she can comfort. I don't know, just an idea. I like the idea of making her more complex than just a simple nymph. All right, they go down into the abandoned village. Festus leads the way. I mean, he started earlier. Everyone else is all happy because they get the pickup going, or going again, and he sort of sadly heads on down. He's led to a chimney. He sees a real rough-looking chimney down there. They're going down into the abandoned village. There's several chimneys, but the biggest of them, he goes there, and sure enough, in the building underneath is a very large fireplace. This is going to eventually be Batch's kitchen, at least one of his kitchens. So he goes down there, and they follow, all of them, or they kind of go together. Now, they are cold, they are wet, they are tired, they are dirty, and darkness is coming. They're wet because of the struggle with the pickup truck, although I had said in that other one that it was a storm that came, and the roofs leaked, and the only shelter in that abandoned village of Chiqueiro, incidentally, I imagine now, a couple of years later, it's been more restored than it was, but in Chiqueiro was a little tiny church, and that's what I did there. Well, here it's this kitchen, this big open fireplace. Well, to get a fire started, the problem is there's no kindling. There's firewood there, but there's no kindling. And Festus, he's got a lighter or something that, this is not set in ancient times. This is set in modern times. He could have a lighter. The light isn't the problem, or dry matches he could find. The problem is there's no kindling. And so he has a devil of a time. He can't get a fire started. And they need a fire. But Marion comes up with corn cobs soaked in paraffin that he finds stored. And he gives it to Festus. So between the two of them, they get the fire going. They also need water. I mean, realistically, you need to have water more than you need to have food, and they need to have water, drinkable water. And, Nama could deal with that right away. I mean, they'd take a bucket down to the creek and get some water out of the creek. Now, that wouldn't be drinkable, but they could boil it. At least they'd have some water. There could be water around, but that could be Nama's domain. The goats and the fowl, they could all be brought into that same space to share their warmth and comfort. And Bryn would be doing that. And as I say, darkness is approaching. And now there's the matter of bedding. You know, how are they going to sleep? How are they going to spend this night? Well, there's a very large bench there, big enough to be bigger than a double bed. It's like a work table, and that will serve as a bed for the little family of three and a half. So they'll have that place, and the others, there's various chairs sitting around, old, you know, stuffed chairs that were going to be thrown out, and they're just down there in the barn. So each one of them could kind of curl up in a chair like that. And Marion finds stuffed up in various areas some sacks that have in them some old blankets, old clothes, used old clothes, and a real treasure trove, a bag full of old sweaters. So each one of them can have a sweater, really nice sweaters, and that kind of saves them because they will be warm enough. There's even a couple sleeping bags there that he finds. Well, that's because, you know, before the village was abandoned, in case someone had to sleep down there with the animals because one was birthing or something like that. So anyway, they find it, and they end up with enough that they can finally go to sleep early because the darkness comes on. Now, what about the music? The mood has got to change back to a somber, almost desperate mood. And I suppose the thing to do would be take a reprise of the music of the overture. I'm beginning to think of that as Marion's theme. And the last thing to be seen in Act 1, I think, as the act comes to a close, I think could be Robinson, the little boy curled up with his puppy Bingo, and he maybe even could have in his hand his kazoo, which is going to be his timbre. All right, bye for now.